I'm Russell Smith. The name of my novel is Self-Care. It's about a young woman who is a recent university graduate. She lives in Toronto, Canada, and she's doing badly paid freelance work, writing web copy, including a weekly column she writes about mental health called Daily Self-Care. And when the novel opens, there's been a strange and possibly coincidental spate of suicides among people who work in the arts in her city. So she's on the subway, coming home from interviewing a city councillor about this inexplicable cluster, when she hears that there are large anti-immigrant protests going on downtown outside the provincial legislature involving several far-right groups. On the subway there was a seat, and so Gloria was able to open her laptop and start on the piece. But then the train slowed and stalled between two stations because there was an announcement. The next station was closed because of the demonstration at the legislature. "Crowd control," said the man beside her grimly. "The station gets overcrowded." "Crowd control," he nodded. "Want to control us all, I guess." Gloria got up and went to the doors to wait. She saw her face in the harsh light and passed at the tunnel walls that always seemed furry with grime. She tried to breathe and do the exercise where you try to note all your surroundings. There was a yellow pipe running along the wall. The number 357 was stenciled in white paint. She tried to be conscious of these things. The yellow pipe was thin, and so was possibly a gas line. Someone had told her that gas lines were always yellow. She wondered for a moment, trapped in that tunnel, whether she were actually an arts worker, and whether that made her at risk of suicide. When the train finally lumbered past the closed station and into the next one, the platforms were already packed with people fleeing the demonstrations. And some of them, Gloria noticed, were decked out in red and black, and they had badges with the black emblems and the white fists. Many were carrying flags. They were all men, a mix of ages, some college boys, some biker types with long ponytails and cowboy boots. The boys had their heads shaved on the sides and the hair slicked back on top. It looked both fascist and punk, and she didn't mind it if she had to think about it. They lined the platform so tightly that when the doors opened, no one on Gloria's train wanted to get out. The knot of people on the train just stood on the threshold staring at this pack of white faces and black jackets, and nobody moved. Behind the front row, somebody was still holding up a placard. It read, "Wokerati, keep killing yourselves." Gloria was standing, and she had to pee. The boy at the front of the pack of fascists himself looked frightened, and his fists were clenched at his sides. He was almost handsome, this boy, or he would have been had his lips not been so thin, and his short hair was combed and parted. It wasn't shaved on the sides. He turned his head and shouted, back up, boys, let the people off the train." And he spread his arms and made a sort of a corridor, and the guys behind him backed up, and the people in front of Gloria stepped off. As she approached this boy, now standing respectfully to one side, Gloria caught his eye. She didn't know why, possibly because she was so pissed off at him for this nonsense. Possibly because she knew he was timid, really. And she knew he might show some deference to her, which she wanted, really, even if he was a fascist, for why not? No one else was going to show her deference. She said without smiling, "Thank you for letting us out." And it didn't come out quite as sarcastically as she'd hoped. The boy pursed his lips and frowned and looked pious and said, "We respect rules, ma'am." And as she heard this, she saw the badge on his bomber jacket, among his many badges, the sad face logo. She knew this logo from the news, although she'd never seen anyone actually wearing it. And she knew respect rules meant his rules only, and a great desire to hurt him coursed through her. She turned to face him and shook her hair out of her shoulders. She put a hand on his chest, right over the sad face button, and she said, "You're kind of cute." A tiny spasm passed over his face, a spasm that could only have been pain. His eyes were wide and his mouth was open. The people pushing past them had not seen anything, had not heard her. The fascist boys passed onto the car, and he stood there, and she stood there. One of them called after him, "Daryn, get on." And he frowned, and he jumped in just before the doors closed. She watched his face slide away, a face of confusion, possibly anger, the face of a child about to cry.